Good morning, fellow app makers. Behzad here from Hey World Coder. Welcome back to another video of how to adding Google Maps to your Android Studio project using Android Studio. In this video, we are going to return username from our database, and we are going to set up our tools to be able to use Google Maps in our application. I've set up the objective for this lesson. The first one is we need to get a data snapshot from our database to retrieve user's name from database, and then we need to set up our Google Maps SDKs or APIs on our Google Cloud Console and enable them in our project. The objective or the goals for this project is to prepare Google Maps tools to be able to use it efficiently in our application. So we go into our application. We left off from our login page. So one mistake I've made here is inside our execute login button method, we do not need to finish it because we haven't started our activity yet. So delete off the finish inside your execute login button method. All you need to just leave the start activity as it is. So we go into our welcome page. We already set them up. And if you are new to these videos, I'll leave previous videos links in the description. You can just watch out what we've done here. So we'll set up our XML layouts from yesterday's video, and today we are going to work on the codes. Go to your welcome page in our field area. So the first step is create a container to avoid any confusion, and copy your method on top and paste it at the end of your onCreate method. Then we need to give one code to our main brackets. The main reason is we want to have a neat workplace. Then logt, we need a debugger tag. Paste, we'll leave as it is the name of our application. Then you're coming down, we have to implement our view bending first. So what we need to do is we need to import our object, welcome page bending. It's from here. Give a name to this variable, welcome page bending. Bring it down. Inside our onCreate below your super, we need to assign these variables we created to the main class. So just write down welcome page bending with a small w equals to welcome page bending dot inflate get inflator layout, and semicolon here. We need to create a view. Make sure you're importing a correct class for here. Give a name to this variable equals to, we need to get a root to our initialized variable, welcome page bending dot get root semicolon, and inside send content view, take off all the layouts you got here and assign it to this view we got. Just copy and paste it here. So our layout is ready for now. Then go back to your field area again. We need to import our Firebase auth and our Firebase database to be able to retrieve data from database. So just write down private Firebase auth. That is the first one we need to import. Give a name to it. Second one is our Firebase database. Give a name to it. And we need to create a string here, string variables, to be able to assign our user's ID to it. Just write down private string user ID, semicolon here. We initialize these variables inside our onCreate. Below your set content view, Firebase auth, it will be equal to, we need to get an instance from our main class. So just capital F, Firebase auth dot get instance, semicolon. We do exactly the same for our Firebase database, equals to Firebase database dot get instance, and here the user ID, it will be the current user and getting the unique ID from our Firebase as well. So write down here, initialize our user ID equals to Firebase auth small f, we need to get this object we created here, dot get current user, that get unique ID on our Firebase database. So we initialize all of this. Now we are going to retrieve data from database. How are we going to do it? let me open up my register page. Just go to your project, on your app, your Java, on top one, and register page. So do you remember I told you, however you are going to store data on database, if you are going to retrieve them, you must be able to retrieve them exactly the same as pathway you register them. So this is our registration path in our register page class, and we are going to retrieve it exactly the same but with more specific details. Let me open up my Firebase and you will understand what I'm talking about. Just going back to our Firebase, get it started. Open up the project we already created. Go to your database on your left hand side inside develop. This is how we stored our users' information on our database. Now, if you are going to be specific on retrieving data from your database, you must initialize a want from this folder, from this subfolder, from this unique ID, one of these items. So that's how specific you are going to be. If you are going to get a whole snapshot, you're just getting the user detail. But if you want to retrieve user full name or email, you must specifically declare it to your application which section do you want to import. Go back to your application. We are in our register page. Close it down for now, or just leave it on for now. Don't need it for a second. Go to your welcome page. We need to create a method to be able to retrieve data. Just write down a comment. The first section, we are describing what is this method is going to do, and the second part is where we are going to use this method. Just write down private void return username and semicolon. Copy up your comment, bring it down here. We need a debugger to make sure our application works. Returning username. We need a database reference to be able to access to our database. Just get an instance from your database reference, give a name to it, user ref equals, come down. We need to access, or we can copy our pathway from our register page, but we are going to give a little bit different changes to it. Just copy your line from here. So you don't want to do it wrongly. That's why I'm going to copy it. Copy it from our register page, paste it here, and here delete all of this and just put down user ID, and that will handle everything. Come down, we need to set add value listener from this our object we created here. We need to get add value listener to be able to retrieve data. Just write down the name of your reference here you created. User ref dot add value event listener. Make sure you import in the correct one, and just new value event listener, and automatically it will open it up for you. Down here, just put your semicolon before you're forgetting it. Inside our uncancelled, we have to let the user know if something go wrong. How we are going to handle it, we are just going to create an error log here. LOGE, it will create a log error. Just copy your database here, paste, then delete off this comma here, we don't need it. Plus, we need to get a message from database error to understand what is going on here. Sorry, just delete off one bracket here, database error dot get message. So if something went wrong, we understand what is going on. Now we are in data change. Come down here. We need a if condition to check if database or data snapshot does exist. Otherwise, you will app crash. You have to set up this condition for it to make sure anything exists on our database to be able to retrieve it. Just write down database snapshot dot exist. If exist, then we need to do something else. Now I'm going to explain what I am going to do before actually start working right into the codes. Do you remember we used our, just let me open it up, so basically that will be easier for everyone to understand what we do. Do you remember we used our constructor to be able to send the user to database, and the constructor will get this parameters from our application and will assign the names to it. Now, to be able to retrieve, we need to exactly use the same bridge that we saved it on our database to be able to use it and get it back here. So let me write it down the codes, then we are going to understand what we're doing. Now we need to get our an object from our constructor class. Just write down constructor, give a name to it, equals to database snapshot dot set value, get value, and semicolon. Here you got an error because you have to initialize it from our constructor class. Just write down constructor dot class. What does that mean? We need to get value from this object we created here, and inside this object or this side the constructor, we got only full name and email password. And in the next line, we are going to specifically telling the machine which section do we actually need to retrieve. Come down here. Inside our welcome page XML, we set up our text view. So we need to assign this text view to the name that we are going to retrieve from our constructor. Just write down a welcome bending view dot, we need our text view dot set text char sequence text, and here we need welcome gap plus constructor dot get full name. So we do have an error because we do not have actually get the full name method inside our constructor. What do we need to do is we have to initialize all of those methods inside our constructor. Go back to your constructor. Below your initialized constructor here, give some space. Turn off your num-lock on your keypad. Hold on Alt and 0 on your keypad, and you'll have a window similar to this. Go to your getter and setter. Hold on Control and select both, and click OK. So what getter and setter does, because we are using private object or variables here, we won't be able to directly access to all of those variables and get the value or data from them. That's why the getter and setter, it will set up a method to initialize some access to all of those variables we initialized here, which we cannot have them access to them directly. The getter and setter gets a value from them and set value from them. But we use the constructor to store user's name or user's email on database. So it will be getter and setter will get the value of those information we stored on database and retrieve them to us. So it sounds a bit confusing, but let's run the app once we finish here, and then everything here makes sense. And if you didn't get it, just you can simply ask the question. Here we set up our get full name method from our welcome page, and everything is ready to set. Apart from our return user's name method hasn't been called anywhere, and based on our comment here, we are going to run it inside our onCreate. So go inside your onCreate, below your user ID, return username. That's all ready for now. Just let me minimize it here. So, and one more thing is we have to initialize our go online button to be able to let the user from welcome page to the map page. So we need initialize it here. Give a private void go online button. Coming down, copy your comment, bring it down here. We need a debugger, go online button pressed. it does a super simple function. It just transfers the user from welcome page to our Google page. Welcome bending view dot, we need to use this button, dot set on click listener. Whenever a user clicks on it, we want to execute a code. Just new on click listener. Make sure you're using the correct one. And here we just write down a start activity, new intent. We are in our welcome page dot this comma, where we are going to send the user Google Map page. Oh, actually, sorry, we do not have it. Sorry, we have to build it first. So go to your project on your Java, on your topest folder or subfolder you created. Just right click, new, and go down from your Google. We need to add a Google Maps activity here. Give a name to it, Google Map page. Take off the activity from here and click finish, and all will be set. So we're facing an error here. I don't know why. Oh, sorry, I called it map page, not Google Map page. So now it's ready, and we are copying the name of our method and put it below your return username and semicolon. So everything's set for now. So we are going to test our app before moving to our Google Map page and see how it works. Just run your app on your virtual machine. We're putting our credential and we are going to log into our app to see what comes up. Just click on login. Then it will transfer you from here. It shows a toast message. Here we'll retrieve our name to our application, and if you push on your Google Go Online, it will go to your Google Map page. So the main reason is we are going to work on our logcat. Just right click on here, the bottom of the window, just go on your logcat, click here, just go on your debugger, and here you can analyze what codes you're creating here. For instance, this is the debugger we created from our return username. Just here above, I've got a debugger. This is the name of the page, welcome page. We are in our welcome page. Return username's method. This is our method, and this is our return username from the user. This is how we go. So then go online button pressed. That is coming from our go online button method. Scroll down. This is our debugger, and that shows this method has been worked. You can use as many as debugger you want for any section of your application or codes to make sure they are running smoothly. So this is how our debugger is working, and as you see, our application is working. And let's try to go online to see what comes up. Just press on button, and here we go, our application is working. So we haven't set up yet. You may have some issues with setting up your Google Maps. That means you'll not be able to see all of these maps details on your map. So it's probably you'll see a gray screen here, and if you do so, do not worry. We got a solution for that one. And the first reason I don't want the length of this video is going over 20 minutes. But in the next video, I will explain to you if your screen is going to be gray, what you need to do and what you have to set up before be able to see all of the maps detailed. So that's it for this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please make sure you do so, because we are going to learn together in the easiest way. If you do have any question, please write it down in a comment, or alternatively email it to me and I'll respond them as quick as I can. And any thought or any idea, you're more than welcome to leave it in a comment and we will consider them. Thanks for your time and watching, and I will see you all in next video.